Hello, welcome. My name is Belinda McLean. I'm the Executive Director of the Flourish Hub, and today we are going to be talking about raw rhythms, rest and work. When I coach a lot of people, when I talk to people, I find that they are on autopilot. And what that means is they are going through the motions, the everyday motions, just one thing after another, because that's what they've always done, or that's the season of life they are in. Maybe it's taking the kids to school every day. Maybe it's picking them up every day. Maybe it's going to that job that they've been going to for 1, 3, 5, 10 years. And every day they just do what they're supposed to do and what they have been taught to do. And this autopilot function we have, it actually has a really, really great purpose. It means we don't have to think about a lot of the things that we do every day, such as remembering to eat breakfast. We just do that autopilot. Maybe you have the same thing for breakfast every single morning, and that is totally fine because you are actually making less decisions that way. So this autopilot feature of our human bodies is amazing because it takes away some of the stress, takes away some of the decision making that we have every day. Humans on average make over 30,000 decisions every single day. And so being able to remove some of those with the little things using this autopilot is amazing. However, what often happens is that the autopilot creeps into other areas of our life and we just keep going down a path that we had been set many years ago, and we don't think about what that might be doing for our life. It's kind of like Groundhog Day. We're doing the same thing day in, day out, every single day for maybe years on end. And that may not be serving us. And that may not be helpful in the season that we're in now. Maybe it was great 5, 10 years ago, but we want change. And often if we are on autopilot for too long, we lose motivation, we lose that zest for life, and we can really feel like it is that Groundhog Day and we just don't know what to do next. So while it's a good thing for little things, I think quite often we actually put autopilot in the pilot seat for too long. So this is where it comes down to our rest and work rhythms. Everyone needs to rest and everyone needs to work. Without good, deep rest, it's really hard to actually work productively and focus on one thing. And often we get unbalanced when we have this autopilot in our life where we've just said, this is what we need to do, and we go on the same path for so long. And what can happen is that either work or rest, or what we think rest is, gets a lot more time in our lives than it really needs or really deserves. So let's have a look at an example of the seesaw. With a seesaw can be used in so many ways. I don't know if when you were little, you went on the seesaw with your siblings, and it could be a hard ride. It would be up, it would be down, it'd be very jerky, and that little crash at the bottom where you're like, oh, you got to brace yourself for the bottom, and then you almost leap out of the seat at the top. And that's sometimes what we do with our rest and work rhythm, is that we go gung-ho for so long and we go so hard and we work to the bone and we get that high because we achieve something. But then we've also got the crash afterwards, the burnout, the anxiety, the just the need to move away from work. Maybe we just dislike our work. It's all these things that happened after that high. It's just maybe it's just unfulfilling because we've already had that high and we crash really low. But if you're going on a seesaw with a little baby or a toddler, you use your legs to brace yourself. And instead of being that high, low all the time, we make it little waves, a little bit more and a little bit less. And we actually regulate that seesaw so much better. And with our work and rest rhythms, we need to do the same thing. Instead of going full out and burn out and full out again and burn out again, how much nicer would it be in life to be an undulating hill rather than a cliff and like a sheer mountain and a cliff? Though exhilarating, is very exhausting. When we look at our raw rhythms over time, conditioning seems to favor one or the other. And for many of us, it favors work and not rest. We schedule in time to work, we schedule in appointments and meetings and all of these things to go, 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 and rest is left behind. So let's have a look at what rest and work really is. So first, if we look at our raw rhythm, you'll notice that rest comes first. And I think that's a really important thing to note when we're looking to balance our seesaw. So what is rest? And rest may look different for lots of people, but I want to challenge you to listen to the actual definition of what rest is. And rest is to cease work or movement in order to relax, sleep, or recover strength. So it is ceasing work. It is ceasing movement or work in order to rest, to relax, sleep, recover strength. And so these activities for rest are actually different to work. And I think that's a really important distinction to make, because rest looks different for different people. So for example, if your work is sitting at a computer all day, maybe you're in an office or at home, and most of your work is done sitting down at a computer. Ceasing the thought processes, ceasing the thinking, which is maybe most of your work, may mean exercise, may mean movement or walking around and not being in front of a screen. But if you do manual labor, or if you are always physically using your body for work, your rest may be the more traditional thought of rest, where it is lounging around, not moving, and actually letting your body have that time to recover its strength. And so the simple definition of rest, and I love this from the book Space Maker by Daniel C., is not work. And so whatever you think of your work is, then rest is whatever that is not. It sounds a little bit philosophical, but for example, if you're a mum running around after kids, taking them here and there and everywhere, doing making their lunches for school and running them from lesson to this to that, maybe rest for you is just having a day at home, because that is for you not work. So I'd love you to write down 3 things that you find are restful for you, 3 things that you would classify as rest. And then work. And as I said, work is different for different people. And the definition of work is activity involving mental or physical. So mental or physical effort done in order to achieve a purpose or result. So work does not need to be physically taxing. It could be mentally taxing on you. It could be the mental work and the knowledge and the thought work that is around at the moment is huge. It's a lot of the workforce is actually knowledge workers rather than laborers or people who work with their body. So again, work looks different, and this is why we need to be really aware that work is different to rest. So maybe you can make a list of things that you would consider as work. And one example that I love to talk to people about is gardening, because for me, gardening comes under the rest category. It is something I'm able to do away from my computer. I don't have my phone on me. I get to just potter, go at my own pace, don't have to be anywhere, all of those sort of things. But for someone whose job it is as a horticulturalist or a gardener or a landscapist, they would not find the same relaxation in gardening as I do. So thinking about the opposites, work and rest, rest and work. So what I'd like to ask you now is, where do you feel your seesaw is? Where do you feel you are now? Because when we look at this as a whole, we need to understand where we're coming from, and every person is coming at it from a different point of view. And they may feel right now that their work is taking over everything, and they need to find a way to rest more. Or maybe you're in a stage where you are looking for work. You are looking for that thing, that either mental or physical effort that you can put your passion and your heart into to create a result. And you don't need rest at the moment. So what would you like to do? Where do you feel you're at now? Where's your seesaw looking? Is it like one end right up and right down, or are you feeling fairly balanced? And again, I can't make the decision for you. I can't say because you're working 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, and you've got the whole weekend to rest, that is a good balance for you. Because some people, maybe it is, but some others, they may feel like full-time work at this point in their life is too much for them, and they would like to rest more. When we're looking at our individual raw rhythm, remember, it is yours. You have a different rhythm to everybody else around you. And that means that when you're looking at what you would like yours to be, and this is really tricky for some people, when you're looking at rest, what do you want to do for rest? What do you feel you need more of? Not what somebody else has told you you need. And we get told that a lot. Oh gosh, you look tired, you probably need a rest. Thank you for letting me know that. I'm aware of it. What do I want to actually do for that rest? Are you trying to balance your own rhythm, or are you trying to prop someone else's up and save them? We quite often do that when we see someone who is out of balance. Maybe they're looking very tired. Maybe you can see that they're working lots. Maybe you can see something is not right in their family. We're trying to fix their own when we're actually missing the fact that we're also out of balance. And when we're looking at these things, we've got to remember, we need to look at it as something we are working towards. It's not going to happen overnight, but once we know the goal, we can actually start to take steps towards it. And if we don't have that goal in mind, we're not going to. So we're looking at rest. How do we want to rest? What things are restful for us? And the second is, what do we want for work? Maybe you're in a job that you don't really like, but what do you want? What would you like to change? What would make it better? Because often we can put pretty good good pin on what we don't like about something. But if we had to then go and say, well, what are the things that we do want? It's much harder. I don't want this, I don't want this, I don't want that. But what I really want is to work in this industry. What I'd really love is this kind of boss. This is the kind of work I would like to do. And go for it. So if we know that we want to change something, and by now, you'll either know you're in the category of wanting to change or whether you're pretty happy. My thoughts are that if you are listening to this webinar, you have been drawn to want to change something about your rest and work rhythms. And really, there are only 3 things we can do to change our rhythms. But we can only do them once we know where we're heading. So it's really important. Once we know where we're heading, then we can start to make changes to get there. And here they are, nice and simple. There are 3 decisions we have to make. The first decision is, what will I do less or stop doing? Maybe there is something that you just know in your heart is not serving you anymore. Let's have a look at that. How can we do it less or stop doing it altogether? What can I do more of, or what can I start doing? So these are things adding into your schedule, adding into your rhythm. Maybe it is exercise related. Maybe it is a routine in the morning that means that you'll be less stressed on your way to work. Maybe it's a nighttime routine to help you get more sleep. What things can I do more of? What can I start doing? And the last one, which is something that we really don't do very often, what routines will I continue to do? What can I give myself a pat on the back for that I'm doing well? Don't need to do it more, don't need to do it less. Maybe you've got your morning routine down pat. Maybe you've got a great way of making healthy lunches, or you've carved out a portion of time each week to sort through your emails, and that's working really well so that you're less stressed for the rest of the week. Whatever these routines are, actually acknowledge you've made some progress and they're serving you at this point in time. Maybe a year or two down the track, you can change it. But if they're serving you well, and you know that that is like one of the foundations of your week, and that's actually helping you move forward, celebrate. You don't do it often enough. Go, wow, I am good at doing this, and I'm going to keep doing it because it's helpful. So take a couple of minutes to actually think about those three things. What will I do less, or what will I stop doing? What will I do more of, or what can I start doing? And what routines will I continue to do? And just remember, as you're thinking about this is a pondering. Really ponder this. And pondering takes time. It's not a quick thing, and no decisions have to be made straight away. You need to make decisions in the end, because not making a decision is a decision in itself. But it can be really easy to go, I need to add this into my schedule. That would be amazing. If I could just get all of this stuff into my schedule, I'd be doing so much better. But I'd really like you to encourage you to have a look at the things you can remove and the things that you are doing well, that you want to give yourself a pat on the back and celebrate. So things you might like to remove, maybe there is social media scrolling, or some way that you are just sapping time that is not serving you in any other way. And I always go to social media because it is one of the biggest, time saps that we have in the modern world. Maybe it is, there is some inefficiencies in the way that you do your work. Maybe there are things you just don't need to do. How can we remove those things? Because if we want to add other things in, if we want to put some healthier things in there, or things that are going to serve you better, we need to remove some of those other things as well. And then celebrate those things you are doing well. Celebrate those routines that you are solid in, and that you know is going to be a great foundation to keep you moving forward. And also, I'd like to give you a little tick to tell you that you are on the right path. You are, you have taken the first step already to change, because that is awareness. And now that you are aware of things that you can do, of rest and work, you can now change them. If you're not aware that there's an issue for you, or you can't articulate what you might need, then it's really hard to change. So as we go, I'd really like to encourage you to think a little bit more about rest, what rest is for you, what work is for you, and what you would like it to be. Write down how you feel you are going, or where you are in your rest and work rhythm, your raw rhythm, and what you would like to change. And celebrate those things that you are doing well. Celebrate those routines you have already that are going to be building blocks for the changes you're going to make. Write down those things that you love. And if you'd like to connect with me, you can find me on Facebook. I'm on Instagram as well. Send me an email or check out my website. Thank you so much. Hope you enjoy the conference.